Another thing about Howie Winter. So we brought up that he went to prison. He gets out in 2002, and then in 2012, he's indicted again because he kind of becomes like a property manager, Howie Winter, after prison, and apparently like extorted someone for some money said like, hey, I still know like people in South Boston who will come and like break your legs.
Oh my God.
And
old habits die hard, man.
Yeah, and
How fucking old was he at that point? He must have been a dinosaur.
He was in his 90s, yeah. And it was 2012. He's probably about 10 years older than Whitey Bulger, so he would have been 93.
That's
and
insane.
He's telling people that, like, I still know people in South Boston.
He's like, yo, I'm still heavy out there in these streets.
To this day, Howie Winter claims he's completely innocent to this day.
Howie Winter's still alive?
Howie Winter is still alive.
Jesus
He claims he's completely innocent, and he also claims that the Winter Hill Gang never existed.
That's awesome.
Shout out to shout out to that guy. Of not only was
he's holding it down.
He's holding it down. I respect that, of just like knowing a lot of how these like gangsters end up, that they all become informants and rats. Of how great is it at 93 years old?
Ooh.
You've been in prison since 78 to 2002, and you're still just like like an old dude who's just exist. Like, yeah, the mafia isn't real. It was like, there is no mafia.
That's what Joey Massino used to say before he became a rat too. But he was like, it's just old Italian guys going out to dinner, and they call us the mafia. And
with Howie Winter, he was just like, I mean, you're talking about gangsters, but he was a better person than Whitey Bulger. Specifically, he was a loan shark and a gambler, but back in the 70s, they were not involved with drugs, the Winter Hill Gang. Yeah. That was something that was very much of Whitey Bulger and Stephen Flemmi, who wanted to bring that in. And just talking about South Boston, of kind of like during the 80s, the mythic figure who Whitey Bulger was, he was sometimes referred to as our gangster, of like, yes, he was a gangster, but he's like the people's gangster. And obviously this wasn't true, but
that wasn't true at all. He was extorting his own neighbors.
He was extorting his own neighborhood, and he was basically the idea around South Boston was just like, yes, Whitey Bulger is a gangster, but he's keeping the worst people out. And
when in fact he wasn't.
When in fact he wasn't. When in fact he was the worst. Drugs. When he was really the person who brought drugs to South Boston. And he kind of people had this idea that he was the one keeping the drug dealers out. And it's like, well, yeah, he was, but he was replacing them with his own guys. And
it's all about just controlling the chain of command.
There is also like a racial thing to it, because Whitey Bulger, this was in the 70s.
Wait, are you trying to say that they were racist in South Boston in the 70s and 60s? Irish people?
I'm trying to say that, yes.
Come on.
He was also like one of the leading forces to stop segregation in Boston, was Whitey Bulger.
He's just like, how many different ways can I be a piece of shit?
And I always thought of like when the Irish people of South Boston were, they're talking about Whitey Bulger's a gangster, but he's keeping the bad gangsters out.
Well, of course. It's always a dog whistle.
That's kind of what it's a dog whistle.
It's always a dog
when
whistle.
They're saying he's keeping drugs out, really he's the biggest drug dealer in all of Boston.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and by the way, the politicians on Long Island in 2020 are using the same dog whistle stuff, just putting out fake propaganda shit on Facebook about how Black Lives Matter supporters are going to invade your town.
Yes.
That's dog whistle shit 101.
I don't know if I should bring up the guy's name.
Yeah, what's that piece of shit? Fuck him. No, bring him up. What's his name?
Mike LaPie.
Yeah, fuck you.
He lost his primary.
Good. He's a fucking racist piece of shit.
He is, and he told...
he's my age, and I don't know if he went to MHS.
I don't know where. I don't know if he did.
I don't think he went to my high school.
He wanted
fuck that guy.
He wanted a group of all white people to wear all white and confront the Black Lives Matter protesters.
Where did you hear that?
All right, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Who cares? Who's gonna come after you?
All right, who's gonna come after me? This was a post on like one of the Massapequa.
Yeah, he knocked on our door one time, and I happened to be at the house, and I answer the door, and he introduces himself, and I recognized him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm running for blah blah blah," and then he's like, a platform, to keep people like, for people like us.
Yeah.
And he winked at me. Yeah. And I wish that I had my phone recording, and I was just going to be like, hey, you mean like, just so I could catch him. But anyway, my point is... He would have
been a supporter of Whitey Bulger.
I don't know if I'm going that far, but...
I don't know how far I want to go with this period. All right, back to...
I'm glad he lost his primary.
Yes, let's get back
Hopefully they take his stupid-ass fucking face down from all over the signs.
They won't, because it was the primary for Congress, and he's still the state assemblyman.
Yeah, he's a douchebag.
I don't know how far I want to go.
I love how we did 5 minutes on a very particular politician that nobody knows about from a town that nobody knows about.
I know. I don't know.
Let's move on.